Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. First chapter, verse 21 and 22. They are very famous verses. I will just read the Sanskrit and then read the translation. Can you hear? Everybody is hearing. Hare Krishna. Arjuna Vacha Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Mechuta Yavatetan Niriksheham Yodu Kaman Avastitan Kairmaya Sahayodavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame. Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said. Senayo. The armies. Ubayo. Both. Madhye. Between. Ratham. The chariot. Stapaya. Please keep. Me. My. Achyuta. O infallible one. Infallible. Yavat. As long as. Etan. All this. Nirikshe. May look upon. Aham. I. Yodukaman. Desiring to fight. Avastitan. Arrayed on the battlefield. Kai. With whom? Maya. By me. Saha. Together. Yodavyam. Have to fight. Asmin. In this. Rana. Strife. Samudyame. In the attempt. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivendanta Swami Prabhupada. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight, and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Purport. O the Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of the charioteer of his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hrishikesha, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war. Arjuna said, "O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present there who desire to fight, and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms." Chalam, Pangum Langayate Girim, Yat Kripatamaham Vandesh Guru Dintarinam, Paramanandamalvam Shri Chaitanya Vishwara. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata, and more or less we all know how in the Mahabharata there is this big battle between the two dynasties, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. It happens so that the Supreme Lord, the Lord of the universe, was present at that time on earth, and not just that, but he was actually a cousin of those two dynasties, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. So they asked Krishna, "Can you take part in this war?" And Krishna said, "I will not fight. Personally, I will not fight in this war. But I can assist, I can help." And then there was the story from Mahabharata how Arjuna, who is, we can say, the strongest warrior from the side of the Pandavas, and Duryodhana, who we can say was one of the strongest warriors from the part of the Kauravas, at the same time they went to Krishna and they wanted to obtain a blessing from Krishna. So when they arrived in Dwaraka, at that time Krishna was taking rest on his bed. And they entered at the same time in the room of Krishna. Krishna was resting on his bed. And Arjuna, being a devotee of the Lord, the devotees, they always like to stay in the shelter of the feet of the Lord. So immediately, automatically, he went to the feet of the Lord, of Krishna. And Duryodhana stayed next to his head, because his presumption was, when Krishna opened his eyes, he will see me first, and I will ask first for blessings. However, when Krishna opened his eyes, first he looked to his feet and he saw Arjuna. He said, "Arjuna, what are you doing here?" And then Duryodhana said, "But no, I'm also here." Krishna said, "I saw first Arjuna. So please tell me why you have come here." Arjuna said, "We will have a war with these guys here. And we want your help." And Duryodhana said, "But I came with the same reason. I also want your help." "So you're also our cousin, you have to help us also." And then Krishna said, "Okay, we will do like that. I will personally help one side in the battle. And my whole army, the Yadavas, they will go to the other side of the army." And everybody knew at that time that the Yadavas are the strongest army in the whole world. Nobody could fight with the Yadavas. So Krishna said, because I saw first Arjuna, he would choose first. And Duryodhana was thinking, oh no, my God, now he's going to choose the army. And what am I going to do with this Krishna? And then he was already like feeling very upset inside himself. And then Arjuna said, my dear Lord, we need your army because it's very big, but still, you are more important than us, so I choose you. And then Duryodhana was so happy from his side, but because he's very diplomatic, he said, okay, I will play as if I'm not satisfied. He started beating and saying, no, I wanted to choose Krishna. Why you choose him? Anyway, I'll be satisfied with the army. Okay. So then, Arjuna took Krishna and Duryodhana took the whole army of the Yadus. And he was thinking, okay, that means the war is more or less, we are sure that we are going to win this war. However, Arjuna, because he's a staunch devotee of Krishna, knew if Krishna is with us, nothing bad will happen. Krishna will always protect us. Why? Because already so many times in their life they saw, always when they had some dangers in their life, Krishna was always coming and always protecting them. So Arjuna had this strong faith that Krishna will always protect us. And now here, in this verse that we read, we are just about the war to start. And Arjuna, who is asking Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord, the Master of everything, the Lord of the universe, Jagannath. Nath means master, Jaga means universe. The Master of the universe, Arjuna is asking him, please, can you become my chariot driver? And can you just drive my chariot? And Krishna, although being the Supreme Lord, who is, everything is coming from him, and he is completely independent, Svarat, and so many other great qualities, although he has all these qualifications, he is just agreeing to be a chariot driver of his devotee, Arjuna. Srila Prabhupada was explaining in the purport that a relationship between the devotee and the Lord is very, very, very special. Devotee wants always to do something for the pleasure of the Lord. And at the same time, the Lord wants to do something to give pleasure to his devotee. And this is one transcendental mystery. How it is possible? Can you imagine? You are the greatest person in the universe. Okay, let's say not in the universe, let's say in Berlin. You are the greatest person in Berlin. And some random person is coming to you and is telling you, can you do this for me? Are you going to agree to do it? Let's say some person, you have like, I don't know how many billions euros and mansions and cars and power, money, everything. And some person from the streets comes and asks you, can you do this for me? Are you going to do it? Well, the Lord will also not do it, unless there is a loving relationship. Because the devotees of the Lord, they are doing so many things for Him, He feels obliged to reciprocate in the same way. There are, in Bhagavad Gita, there is one very famous verse that is saying different classes of people, they approach Krishna and they want different things from Him. And although He is the Supreme Lord, as we said, He is fulfilling the desires of everyone from times immemorial. Do you know what that means? If someone is fulfilling your desires, running here and there to fulfill your desires, what that means? He's your Yes, and your servant. Exactly. If someone is running here and there to fulfill your desires, that means he is actually serving you. So Krishna, there is one statement in the Upanishad, it is saying, Eko, yeah, Eko Bakusham, this is one, yes. Yes, correct. Krishna is the person who is fulfilling the desires of all living entities from time immemorial. So, anyway, already Krishna is serving every living entity in the universe. But to some living entities, he is serving indirectly. He is allowing their desires to be fulfilled, and the material energy, which is one of the energies of Krishna, is fulfilling their desires. Normally, this is what's going on in this material world. We want something. If we have enough pious credit, or that means if we did enough good things in our past so that this thing can happen, Krishna is permitting. Okay, let it be so. Tatastu. And then material energy is fulfilling our desire, makes the arrangements so that we can get our desire fulfilled. And with his devotees, with those personalities who sometimes are ready to serve the Lord, even though their motivation may not be completely pure, sometimes Krishna personally makes arrangement and fulfill their desires. And those personalities who are completely pure, selfless devotees, for them Krishna always tries to find opportunity, seeks for opportunity to render some service to them. They are so selfless and they dedicated to such an extent their life, their energy, their thinking, mind for Krishna, that he wants to reciprocate to their endeavors somehow or other. So everything that's going on actually in the world is a reciprocation between the Lord and the living entities. But with some living entities it is indirect. It is quite difficult to perceive actually, because it's going through the medium of the external energy or material energy of the Lord. And with some personalities, some devotees, the Lord is ready to reciprocate directly. Why Krishna is ready to reciprocate with some living entities directly and with others not? What is the reason for this? In a purport to Bhagavad Gita 7:16, Shri Prabhupada is saying, these personalities come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. So this aspiration prevents these personalities to render devotional service with such intensity and such sincerity that will oblige the Lord to personally appear in front of them. Or in other words, because their motivation, their purity of the service is not pure enough, Krishna is still not ready to appear personally in front of them. He may appear though in a different ways, like in the form of Archa Vigraha or deities in the temples, or in the form of Shastra, the scriptures, the holy books, or in the form of his advanced pure devotees. Mm-hmm. These are the ways how the Lord is giving his mercy to different personalities in this world. So if we don't have, as we heard here, if we don't have strong enough intensity of devotional service and extreme sincerity in our motivation, Krishna in the beginning will not appear in front of us. Then the question arises, okay, how it is possible to do something to make Krishna appear in front of us? Sometimes Krishna may appear in front of us, even still our motivation may not be completely pure. Do you think this is possible?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think? Are you sure?
No.
Yes, it is possible. Because in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said so. But in order this to happen, one should get a special mercy. Mercy from who? From Guru, from a pure devotee of the Lord. We may not be personally completely 100% pure, but if we get the mercy of someone who is 100% pure and dedicated to the Lord, because of that, Krishna can become merciful to us. And the story that illustrates this in Srimad Bhagavatam is the story of Dhruva Maharaj in the 4th canto of Bhagavatam. How many of you know the story about Dhruva Maharaj? Okay. How many don't know the story? Okay. So shortly, Dhruva Maharaj was a son of a Kshatriya or a king. And there was an incident that he had a brother, but from another mother. So the king has actually 2 wives. And one time Dhruva was trying just to go in the lap of his father, and his the co-wife of the king, when she saw this, she said to Dhruva, to the small boy Dhruva, he was only 5 years old, you don't have the right to sit in the lap of your father. Next life, you may be born from my womb, and only then you will be qualified to sit in the lap of your father. So Dhruva, being a Kshatriya, Kshatriyas, they are famous that they are getting angry very, very, very fast. So just by hearing this, he was already burning. And he decided that he will show them all what will happen now here. He decided that he will leave the kingdom, and he will perform such a severe austerities that he will get a kingdom which is not bigger than the kingdom of his father, but even bigger than the kingdom of his grandfather, who is actually Lord Brahma, the first living entity in the whole universe. So it's difficult to have a kingdom bigger than his, but Dhruva, he was so determined. So when the Lord saw his determination, because actually, by the way, he was thinking how he can achieve this result, and his mother told him, I have heard that the sages, they go to the forest and they repeat mantras and prayers and they do meditation in order to get the favor of the Supreme Lord. So if you like, you can try to do that. If you get his favor, he will help you to achieve your goal. So Dhruva, actually, he went in the forest with this impure motivation. He just wanted the kingdom. He just wanted money, opulence. This is not pure devotion. He's not going to serve the Lord and he doesn't want anything in return. No, that's not his motivation. But because he was very, very, very determined, the Lord make a special arrangement that he meets Dhruva Maharaj, a great pure devotee of the Lord, Narada Muni. Great pure devotee of the Lord Narada Muni. And then, when Narada saw his strong determination, he actually wanted to use this to help him to achieve pure devotion. And then he gave him instructions how he can achieve perfection. And Dhruva started fasting. First he stopped eating food. After 1-2 months he stopped drinking water. And after 1-2 months he stopped breathing. And then he was just living without eating, without drinking, and without even breathing. And he was doing only one thing. He was repeating the mantra that he got from Narada Muni. Om Namo Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, after this severe austerity, the Supreme Lord appeared in front of him. What do you think? Why Krishna appeared in front of him? What was actually the reason why Krishna appeared in front of him?
Because of Narada Muni?
Yes, correct. Krishna did not appear in front of him because of his severe austerities. Krishna cannot be attracted by great austerities, neither by perfection in the yoga system. Krishna has already everything. But when he sees that his pure devotees are giving their mercy to someone, Krishna feels obliged, okay, I have to give my mercy to this person also. Actually, the mercy of Krishna in this world is not coming directly. Very, very rarely his mercy is coming directly. Actually, the mercy of Krishna is coming through his pure devotees, through his preachers. When the preachers of Krishna, who are like a representative of the Lord, they go here and there, and they decide to give their mercy to someone, Krishna feels obliged, okay, my mercy should follow their mercy. And he is also eager to give his mercy to this personality. So because Narada Muni was merciful to Dhruva, Krishna's mercy followed his mercy. And Dhruva got the mercy of the Lord. Although his motivation was not completely pure because he got the mercy of a pure devotee, at the end he was benefited. He got personal darshan. He saw personally the Lord. So, we spoke that sometimes Krishna is fulfilling the desires of the living entities through the material energy, or sometimes he may even fulfill them personally because they got the mercy of pure devotee of the Lord. Now, we are going to speak about different category. The pure devotees of the Lord themselves. Example for this is Prahlad Maharaj. How many of you don't know the story about Prahlad Maharaj? And do you know who is Narasimhadev? Have you heard? How many don't know who is Narasimhadev? Narasimhadev is there on the wall. Later you can go and see him. It's a special form of the Lord, Narahari, half lion, half man. The Lord appeared in this special form. Sometimes one spiritual master said that this is the god of the war, because nobody is more angry than him and nobody can fight with him. He's always winning. So Prahlad was also a small boy. He appeared. When already appeared, he was a great devotee of the Lord. He was never doing anything else than just serving the Lord. And his father, who was a great demon, who never supported the, we could say, spiritual lifestyle, was so angry to see that his small boy is actually a devotee of the Lord. And at some point, things escalated so much that his father he was ready to kill his son, but just to stop him practicing this bhakti, this spiritual lifestyle. And although he tried to kill him in so many ways, he was the servants of his father. They were trying to put him in a boiling oil. Nothing happened to him. They were trying to pierce him with different weapons. Nothing happened. Then they were trying to put him in a huge hole with elephants, so that the angry elephants, so that they just step on him. Nothing happened. And poisonous snakes. Nothing happened. So they started thinking, what is this boy? What is he doing? So then the father personally went to his small boy and said, from where you are getting your power so that you can do these things? And the small Prahlad said, "Oh, my dear father, I'm getting my power from the same place where you're getting your power. But actually you are misusing your power." So his father, he became even more angry. He said, "So you're always speaking about your Lord. Where is your Lord? Is he even here in my kingdom, in my castle?" And the small Prahlad said, "Yes, he is here. Is he even in this pillar?" And Prahlad looked at the pillar. Sometimes some devotees say he saw how Krishna is smiling from inside. And he said, "Yes, my Lord is there also in the pillar." And then Hiranyakashipu, his father, became even more angry. He said, "If he is here, let's see if now he's going to protect you when I cut off your head." And he took out his sword and he was ready to kill Prahlad. When he was going towards him, he knocked with his hand the column of the castle, and the column suddenly just exploded, and from inside appeared Narahari, Narasimhadev. And the whole army of Hiranyakashipu came and started fighting with Narasimhadev. Narasimhadev just had a little bit fun, smashed them fast, and at the end killed Hiranyakashipu. Actually, it was the other way around. First killed Hiranyakashipu and then his whole army. And then the small Prahlad came to offer prayers to the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord, Narasimhadev, said, "You are such a dear devotee to me. I want to give you some benediction, some blessing. Tell me, what would you like?" And Prahlad said, "My dear Lord, you want to give me something? How is that? I'm your devotee, and I'm doing service for you because this is my constitutional position. This is my eternal position. And now you want to give me something in return? How is that? If I take something in return to my service, this is not called devotion. This is called business. I'm not a businessman. I'm just here to serve you. This is our eternal relationship. You are eternally my master, and I'm eternally your servant, and this will never change. I don't want anything from you because of my service." So actually here we start seeing what is the difference between a devotee of the Lord, someone who have faith in the Lord, someone who is ready to do something for the Lord, but still he wants something for himself. Something very little, very, very, very little, but I want something. At the end, I did so much service, so many years of service, completely selfless. And now something little bit I want for myself also. But Prahlad Maharaj, no, he didn't want anything in return. He just said, "My duty is to serve you, my position is to serve you, I'm your eternal servant, and I don't want anything else. This is my happiness in life, just that I am in my position." We have another famous story, also in Bhagavatam, that illustrates another pure devotee of the Lord, how he is acting. This is the famous story from 9th canto about Ambarisha Maharaj. Ambarisha Maharaj he was also a king. One time he decided to perform austerities. At that time, many years ago, it was tradition for people to do austerities or to give charity. That was a daily activity for the people. Why? Because they knew this will make my character noble. At that time, many years ago, the important thing for the people was qualities, value of character, proper relationship between the people. Nowadays, what is important?
Money.
How much money you have in the pocket, how expensive car you are driving, how many houses you have, how many people are walking behind you when you're walking on the street, like such kind of things. At that time, that was not important. The qualities were important. So Ambarisha Maharaj, as a proper king, he had to always show example to his citizens, how they have to perform austerities, how they have to give charity. So he was doing this on a daily basis. So one time he fasted for a long time, and it was just about to break his fast. And one great mystic, a yogi, appeared. His name is Durvasa Muni. So the great mystic Durvasa appeared and said to the king, "My dear king, I'm your guest and you have to feed me." This is the tradition. Those who are from Indian background, they know. If a guest comes, atiti, someone who you don't know he will come, but he just comes, you have to take care of him. Householder, he cannot eat before he takes proper care for his guests. This is the system. Yes? Correct? So Maharaja Ambarisha, following the system, said, "Yes, sure, of course. First I will feed you and then I will break my fast." But then Durvasa Muni said, "But first I want to perform my noon duties. I'll slowly go to the river, take my bath, perform all my mantras, mudras, tantras, and then I'll come and then I'll take my lunch." And then Maharaja Ambarisha said, "Okay, yes, if you so desire, please do it." But then Durvasa Muni got late and the time for breaking the fast was already passing by. And the king became a little bit worried. Not just because he was after following all these rules and regulations, but his internal mindset was, "I want to do everything in a perfect way to give the best pleasure for Krishna." And because he was doing this fast for the pleasure of the Lord, he wanted also to finish the fast properly for the pleasure of the Lord. So then he had this dilemma, what to do now? Shall I break my fast or shall I not break it? Because first I have to take care for this Muni, who is my guest. And he asked his ministers, his brahmanas. Every king has wise people around him to give him good advices. So they said, "My dear king, don't worry. In the Shastra, in the holy text, it is said, if you drink water, this is just like you are breaking the fast, but at the same time you are not breaking the fast. So in this way you fulfill your desire, but at the same time you didn't eat, so the Muni will not be offended. He can first eat and then you can take your meal." So he was very happy, Maharaja Ambarish. He took little bit water, but this Durvasa Muni, he was such a great mystic, he could see with his mystic power that actually he drank water. And he became so angry. How he can drink water just like that? He said he will first feed me, and now he's breaking his promise. What kind of king is this? I see already Kali Yuga is coming, irreligion. And then he became so angry, he went to the king, he took one hair from his head, throw it on the ground, and he produced one great demon, black demon, and gave him order, "Kill this king. He's impious king. He's not taking care for his guests." And then immediately the demon started running with his trident to the king. But then Maharaja Ambarish, just because he was a pure devotee of the Lord, he even did not react. Why he did not react? Not that he was afraid, or not that he was not a strong personality. No, rather it is said Maharaja Ambarish, he was extremely strong personality. Not just physically strong as a warrior, but he was spiritually very strong because he underwent so many austerities during all these years. So he could easily kill this demon, and even he could show his powers to this great Muni, Durvasa Muni, but he didn't want to do that. Rather, he used the situation to do what? To take complete shelter in the lotus feet of the Lord. He just folded his hands in front of this demon and said, whatever Krishna wants to happen, it will happen. If he wants to kill me, let him kill me. If he wants to protect me, he'll protect me. Nobody can do anything for me. He had such a strong faith that he just stayed there. And the demon was just about to kill Ambarishi Maharaj, and that time the personal weapon of Krishna appeared. What's the name of the personal weapon of Krishna? Chakra. There are many different weapons. Kalashnikov, M16. No weapon can be compared with Sudarshan Chakra. So Sudarshan Chakra killed the demon just for a second and stand running in the direction of Durvasa Muni. And when Durvasa Muni saw that, he understood he's in a big trouble. So he ran back. And he was running as fast as possible. And Sudarshan Chakra, just for fun, was just like few fingers behind Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni could feel the heat from the chakra of Krishna. And he was running as fast as possible. He started running everywhere, in the earth, in the heavenly planets, the whole universe. He was trying to escape, but no matter where he was going, Sudarshan Chakra was always here, behind his neck. So at the end, he went to directly to Vishnu, to the Supreme Lord. And he said, my dear Lord, I did such a great offense to this devotee of yours. So now please help me, save me from this bad situation. Vishnu said, you don't understand what's going on here. You offended my devotee and now you are coming to ask forgiveness from me? I cannot do anything. If you want forgiveness, now you have to go back. You have to go back to Ambarishi Maharaj and pray for mercy from him. Only he can forgive you. I am actually controlled by my devotees. If my devotee does not forgive you, I cannot do anything. I am helpless. I cannot do anything independently from my devotees. And then Durvasa Muni little bit started quarreling with the Supreme Lord. He said, what did he say, Pandava? But
what is right, Bhagashi or Brahmanas?
So what is higher? I mean, now we have a dilemma here. This king, he just want to follow some simple rule of breaking properly the fast, and I am a big Brahmana, exalted, exemplary, the whole universe knows me, Durvasa Muni, and I am going as his guest, and he doesn't want to receive me properly. Which of the two is higher? And Vishnu thinks for a moment, and what he's saying?
Vishnu said, please go ask Ambarish Maharaj, because I don't know.
So the Supreme Lord said, I don't know what is higher. My pure devotees, they don't know. They know. Whatever they say is correct, okay, that's correct. This is my criteria for correct and incorrect. I am not absolute criteria for correct and incorrect. My pure devotees, they are the criteria. Who is correct and who is incorrect. What is correct and what is incorrect. And then slowly Durvasa Muni, he started getting it. He started understanding, okay, wait a minute. I was trying to understand everything through the perspective of rules and regulations and materially higher and materially lower, but now we are speaking about something completely different. Now here we are speaking about relationships. It's all about relationships. It's not all about rules and regulations. who follow the rules better, who is absolutely good in following the rules, who has amazing skills to do this and to do that. It's not about that. I can be a great Brahmana, I can do all the mantras and tantras perfectly, but Krishna, he has a personal relationship with this personality. Because of him, he is ready to do everything. And then when Durvasa Muni got this point, immediately he went back to earth, just fell flat in the feet of Ambarisha Maharaj and asked for forgiveness. And only when Ambarisha Maharaj gave, actually Ambarisha Maharaj from humility, he said, why I have to forgive you? You didn't do anything so that I have to forgive you. But still Durvasa Muni was saying, no, please forgive me because Sudarshan Chakra is behind. It's waiting. So okay, then when Ambarisha Maharaj said, okay, from my side, nothing. And then Sudarshan Chakra said, okay, I will leave you for now. Be careful next time. So this is another example for pure devotee of the Lord. He's so surrendered to the Lord that he thinks he doesn't want to ask anything from the Lord. Even when his life is in danger, he doesn't want to ask anything from the Lord. He just wants to think about the Lord, render service to the Lord. It's quite a high standard for devotional service. Huh? At that time someone may think, okay, it's very nice what you are saying, but what about us? What about the practical life 2019 Berlin, Europe? We have our lifestyle, we have our habits, we have our consciousness. It's always with us. Our mind is always with us, yes? Cannot escape. Even if we want to, at least for one day, but no, the mind is always there. Already in the morning. Hello! He appears. So yes, that's our situation, but the process is a process. All these great personalities, they became such a great personalities just because they were following the process of devotional service. Slowly they were rendering service to the Lord, and slowly they were advancing in spiritual life, and there they are, these great personalities. Prahlad Maharaj, Ambarisha Maharaj, Uddhava, so many great devotees, so many great Vaishnavas. They were not always great Vaishnavas. Most of them, they were conditioned souls in the material world, but because they were following the process of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, the process of bhakti-yoga, by chanting the holy names of the Lord, by listening the pastimes of the Lord, by worshipping the deities, by regularly studying the books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they achieved this perfection. They became these great personalities. So, if they made it, there is a chance for us also. Plus, we have the great bonus of the special mercy of the pure devotee of the Lord, who is Srila Prabhupada. If we take the shelter of him, of his lotus feet, it's sure that we will get the mercy of Krishna also. So it's a question of time. And then the last thing that I want to say is it is said that from all qualities that Krishna has many qualities, unlimited qualities. The great authorities, they are describing 64 main qualities of Krishna. They are described in books like Nectar of Devotion and other books also. So, from all unlimited qualities of Krishna, it is said that two qualities are very special. Why they are very special? Because Krishna never fails in acting according to these two qualities. All his other qualities, although they are eternally possession of the Lord, in other words, Krishna always has them, sometimes he may not act according to these qualities. But these two qualities, Krishna never fails to act according to them. And these two qualities are Krishna is controlled by the love of his pure devotees, and Krishna shows loving symptoms because of the love of his devotees. Krishna shows symptoms of prema because of the love of his devotees. In other words, not just the pure devotees, they experience love to the Lord, but the Lord, in the same way, experienced love for his devotees. And there are many examples given for this, like, for example, the story from Srimad Bhagavatam with Kardama Muni. It's a great sage who was meditating just next to one lake. This lake is known as Bindu Sarovar. And it is said that when Krishna appeared in front of this sage, next to this lake, actually, because of love for his devotee, tears started coming from his eyes. And Jiva Goswami, who is a very great philosopher in our tradition, he is saying that this is a symptom of the extreme love of the Lord to his devotee. If you cry when you see someone, I mean, if it's crying from happiness, then that means you really have a love for this person, isn't it? And there are many other examples Jiva Goswami is giving for another devotees of the Lord. When Krishna was seeing them, how he was crying, or hairs on his body were coming on end. So it is said that these two qualities of Krishna, they are always present. Krishna is always controlled by the love of his devotee, and he is always showing his love towards his devotees. Other qualities that Krishna has, though, he may not exhibit them always. Like, for example, we know that Krishna, as the Supreme Lord, he is always truthful to his vow, isn't it? Like, even in this world, if someone can always do whatever he is saying, this person is considered like very noble person, saintly personality, isn't it? Yeah. If someone is always truthful. So, because the Supreme Lord is the highest living entity, he is always truthful to his vows. Whatever he says, he's doing it. But sometimes Krishna may not do what he is saying. Why? He will not do it, again, because of his devotees. Like we have the famous example with Bhishmadev and Arjuna. Again, to come back in the beginning of the lecture, when Krishna was chariot driver of the chariot of Arjuna, at some point in the battle, in the war, Bhishmadev, who was, we could say, the greatest warrior from the other side, from the other army, grandfather Bhishma, he was extremely powerful personality. He is not an ordinary living entity. His mother was personally Ganga Devi, and yeah, he was a special person. So Bhishmadev gave a vow: tomorrow I'll kill the 5 Pandavas. Unless Krishna do something, they'll die. So that was serious thing. And then Bhishmadev started fighting with such a anger, such a prowess, that nobody could stop him. Nobody could stop him. And then at some point he started fighting personally with Arjuna. Krishna was there on the chariot of Arjuna, and he's the Supreme Lord, but Bhishmadev was fighting so vigorously, with such an anger, with such a strength, that even Arjuna could not do anything, could not stop him. And at some point, Krishna saw that Arjuna is really in a very difficult situation. Then Krishna personally, the Supreme Lord, get off from the chariot, took one of the wheels from the chariot and start holding it like his Sudarshan chakra, like his weapon, and start running in the direction of Bhishmadev. And when Bhishmadev saw this, he was very satisfied. Why? Because actually Bhishmadev wanted to show how attached is Krishna to his devotees. That he's ready even to break his personal vow to show how dear are his devotees to him. So in this case, just when Krishna was running and Bhishmadev, he left his weapons and he said, "My dear Lord, now my desire is fulfilled. I saw you as a Bhakta Vatsala, as the protector of your devotees. So this is enough for me." And in other situations also Krishna, like for example, Krishna is always patient. Krishna is the most patient person in the whole creation. But sometimes Krishna is not acting in this way. Like in Mahabharata again, there is a famous statement of Krishna in which Krishna is saying, whoever is angry to my devotees, he is angry to me. And whoever follows my devotees, he follows me. Krishna is exhibiting his transcendental spiritual anger, although he is the most peaceful person in the whole universe. And also when Krishna was in Mathura to save his mother and father that were locked in the jail from Kamsa, Krishna, he became so angry at some point, he just jumped to the place where Kamsa was sitting, took Kamsa for his clothes and threw him down on the fighting arena and start beating him again and again and again. Although he is such a peaceful personality, sometimes he is not very peaceful. Why? Because he doesn't like to see that someone is creating trouble to his devotees. Krishna is the Supreme Lord and he is neutral. He is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu, I'm neutral to all living entities. But if someone is creating trouble to my devotees, then I'm not neutral anymore. I want to do something about it. Okay, I think we can stop here. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I don't know if there is time for any questions or okay, if there is some questions. Yes.
For sure, we don't wish for something material when we do a devotional service, but it's also wrong to wish for bhakti, and how it is even possible not to wish for bhakti.
If we just want bhakti or service to the Lord, this is not considered material desire. We have to desire opportunity to do devotional service, to associate with devotees, to be able to come to spiritual places like this temple. Because these are the things that will enhance our bhakti, our devotional life. That's why it is good, actually. It is good if we are doing these things. Although there is one verse in Bhagavatam who is saying that the great, very great, pure devotees, they don't want even such kind of opportunities. There is one verse that is saying, anyway, I forgot it in Sanskrit, but the verse is saying, for a pure devotee, if he is in a hell or he is in a heaven, for him is the same. Just he wants to do something for Krishna.
So it is kind of wrong, because we want this.
No, for us it's okay. One time, one devotee was saying to Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, we shouldn't, because Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture, and the whole lecture he was explaining how we should be completely pure, 100%, not anything, not ask anything in return from Krishna. And then the devotee said, but then Srila Prabhupada, so that means we should not never ask anything from Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada said, yes, these are the very advanced devotees. We can advance, we can ask to go back to the spiritual world. So Srila Prabhupada authorized this desire. Actually, we have to develop this strong eagerness that we want to go to the spiritual world. It's okay. Yes.
It's just like a comment, I think, because it's a nature of the soul, a desire. We cannot reject desire because it's a nature of the soul. We have to transform the desire. So that's why it's a question what kind of a desire. If we have the right desire, then it's bhakti or certitude. Otherwise, it's impossible to not to desire.
Yes. Did you hear from the back? So yeah, it is true. This is the nature of the soul. We are active by nature, and we always desire by nature. So we cannot just stop desiring. Rather, we have to desire the proper things. We should have a proper desire, and the proper desires, they are coming by proper association. Srila Prabhupada, sometimes he was answering that how you are becoming a thief by associating with thieves. So he was saying, in the same way, if we associate with devotees, we will develop the strong desire to become a devotee. These desires, they will come from the association of Vaishnavas. Alone, it will be very difficult, it will take time. Because we are small, Maya is very big, and Maya can empower us very easily. And we will start desiring different things. That's why we should try to, as much as possible, always to search for the association of devotees, like-minded devotees. Thank you for the comment. Something else? Yes.
I think you were saying that devotion or bhakti is always more powerful than austerity, but isn't it that also sometimes in bhakti you perform some small austerities to please Krishna as well?
So we said that bhakti is more important than austerity, but sometimes we see in spiritual life actually we are doing austerities. Then why we are doing austerities? Why don't we just do bhakti? Well, bhakti is actually an attitude. It's a mood. Like, for example, are you married? No. You have a girlfriend? No. Okay. Okay, let's say someone is married. Johnny Tang. And his wife is asking him, please go and throw the garbage. So one way to do it is, yes, my dear, now immediately I will go and I will throw the garbage. And he goes, throws the garbage, and he's coming back and he's saying, do you need something else? Something more? And then, in the other scenario, he's hearing this and he's saying, why me? Why not Phil? He has to go and throw out the garbage. Why always I have to do this? Just leave me alone. And then he's doing it, but because the mood is not proper, the activities is done. But because the mood is not proper, actually the proper result will not come from this activity. So in the same way, bhakti is actually a mentality, an attitude. But you have to express bhakti through something. You need some media to express bhakti. And you don't have big variety of mediums. Basically, we have three mediums: karma, action, jnana, knowledge, or yoga, or certain, we could say, austerities, yeah, different austerities connected with the mind and with the body. So, because we have to express our devotion to Krishna, we have to do it through some external media, and we have to use one of these three. There is nothing else that we can use to express our devotion to Krishna. So either we have to do some activity, or we have to do certain type of study, reading certain books, something, or we have to do some kind of austerity or, I don't know, ceremony, something. And when we do it with the proper mood or attitude, with this thing, with this activity or with this study or with this austerity to give pleasure to Krishna, we call this bhakti. So we have to use something. In the bhakti-yoga or in Krishna-consciousness, we are using all three of them. That's why very often it is said that bhakti-yoga actually combines the essence of the all other yoga processes. Like in bhakti-yoga, we have the action from karma-yoga, isn't it? There is pretty much action, yeah? There is dancing, there is cooking, there is cutting, there is making garlands, there is harinam, there is book distribution, so much action going on. Also in Bhakti Yoga we have quite some study, especially lately in ISKCON there is more and more stress given to study. You have to go to Bhakta program, you have to finish Bhakti Shastri, we have ISKCON disciple course, we have this course, that course. So we are studying books like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, so many other important books that Srila Prabhupada translated, so many other books that Srila Prabhupada said we have to translate them, and the devotee should study them and know them. So there is quite some knowledge, education, and also we have austerity in Bhakti Yoga, like we have days like Ekadashi, or we are trying to fast on the appearance days of the Lord. Sometimes we do other kinds of austerities. So all these elements, they are part of the process of bhakti. Just we should add the positive attitude that we are doing this for the pleasure of the Lord. If we do austerity but we don't have the positive attitude, this is for the Lord, it will be called yoga. If we are doing studying but we don't do it for the pleasure of the Lord, it will be called jnana yoga. If we are doing many different activities but we are not doing them with the idea to give pleasure to the Lord, it will be called karma yoga. But when you add to all this activity, knowledge or austerities, the idea that no, I want to do it for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of Guru, for the pleasure of devotees, then it becomes bhakti yoga. That's the idea. It's okay? Okay, I think we have to stop. So, Yantra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai! Shri Jagannath Subhadra Devi ki Jai! Shri Varnitai ki Jai! Shri Prabhupada ki Jai! Nitai Gaur Premanand.